Hey everyone. So I had somebody ask me yesterday, what is it like to have a session with me? What are those like? What is that experience like? And I realized I really haven't talked that much about that recently. So I wanted to do a short video talking about why you might schedule a session with me, what it's like during a session, and what you might experience afterwards. So in terms of why you might schedule a session, there's several reasons, but I would say most people come to me because they are experiencing some sort of chronic health challenge. So whether that's pain, whether it's a disease process, injury, illness, whatever it may be. Usually it's chronic the first time I see somebody. And that's just because it's become such a major source of stress in their life that they're looking for um, something outside of the box. They've tried lots. They've seen lots of doctors, tried different supplements, exercise routines. They've tried all the things, and they haven't been able to really get to the root of the problem yet. That doesn't mean to say that if you have an acute pain that you can't schedule a session. Most of my ongoing clients will schedule like when aches or pains or illness strikes. They like to get in there and get to the root of it right away so they can pull it out by the root. And then I would say the second reason that people often schedule with me would be relational issues. So something's going on, whether it's in your partnership or your marriage, a relationship with a child, coworker, whatever it may be. It's a relationship that's causing probably a significant amount of stress in your life. And then the third reason is like emotional discomfort in your life. So maybe anxiety, worry, depression, and you're not really sure, like it's been hanging around for a while and you're not really sure how to move out of that feeling state. So I help people get clarity in that. And then what's it like to work with me? So you come with an intention. I invite all my clients to arrive with an intention. So an intention can be really, really simple. It can be, I have this pain in my back and I'd really like for it to go away. So don't overthink the intention thing. It can just be, there's a source of stress in my life that I would like some clarity about how to move forward. So when you bring your intention, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sit down and talk about that, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. So I bring a lot of intuition into the work that I do, but it's a collaborative process. I'm not what many people would think of as like a psychic, where you just show up to them and they start telling you a bunch of information about yourself. That's not how my intuition works. My intuition works. It's very much a dance between like what I'm sensing in your energy when you talk about your pain, when you talk about the things that you've tried. Like I will hear things to offer you from your inner wisdom. I will sometimes get a feeling in my body, which I will then describe to you. Oftentimes I will say, a lot of times it's feeling, like I get a feeling in myself that then I try to describe that feeling to you. And I always say, like, this is me describing what I feel like your body is trying to tell you. So what that means is that there's room for interpretation. So the way in which I describe the energy may not be exactly what your body is trying to tell you, but this is where the collaboration comes in between you and I. We collaborate in a way that decodes the message for you. And there's usually always some level of truth to what I'm feeling and sensing, and sometimes we have to kind of work it and move around it and look at it from all sides in order to really find the piece that resonates fully with you. So it's a lot of talking. On the outside, it looks like talk therapy, and I get asked all the time, like, but I thought you did energy work, or why can't we do the body work too? And my answer to that is we are doing body work. It just looks like talk therapy. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm constantly tuning into the energy of your body as we're talking. And as I'm asking the questions, these are the questions that need to be asked in order to shift the energy. And sometimes it's not so much that the question needs to be asked, but the answer needs to be sought in order for that energy to start shifting. And so, which leads me into like, what might you feel after a session? And that is variable. I would say most of my clients feel a greater sense of peace in their hearts, they're more connected to love. They feel their energy flowing through them in a way that feels really different. And I would say there's also a possibility, especially the clients that I've been working with for a while, is that things are stirred up, right? And because we talk about, we go down to the root of what's causing your symptoms. And so a lot of times that stirs up in us some fear and some anxiety about like, oh, like I see the problem now and I know what I need to do about it, but there's some fear and there's some discomfort about really moving into that. So we may stir the pot a little bit. And I look at that, I actually get this feeling of like, yes, when we're in that space and when a client leaves a session in that state, because I know like that stirring has to happen in order for forward momentum and healing to actually commence. Like we have to stir the pot. We have to stir up those uncomfortable energies a little bit and bring them more fully into your awareness so that you can take action on them. So there you have it in 6 minutes. A little synopsis of what it's like to work with me. One thing I would say that you can be sure of is that this work is transformational, and for many people it's very, very subtle. And so sometimes you may leave and go like, I don't really understand what happened, but I have people come back to me like a few days later or a few weeks later, or even sometimes a few months later, and they're like, do you know that thing that you told me? Like my life has been completely different ever since then. So it is transformational. It is definitely something that I would say, trust the process. One of the joys of my life is being able to say that this is the happiest I've ever been in my life, and it's because I have learned to cultivate that I'm still learning to cultivate a relationship with my inner wisdom, and it brings me so much joy. Like I have clients who tell me the same thing, like I've just unlocked the key to happiness, and like it's just such a wonderful feeling to know that I've been a part in that journey for people. So yeah, I'd love to work with you. Go ahead, there's links below. You can schedule an appointment with me if you're intrigued, and I'll see you soon.